Hi, friends. I wanted to come and share with you something I learned that I think we're all familiar with, and it's a good reminder. I want to talk about intentional listening. One of the problems I see often in myself and in other people is the intention of listening to respond instead of listening to actually hear information. And so there's that element of listening of, as a leader, as someone who God has put in a place of authority, whatever that looks like, whether it's here or in other places, how well do you listen? Not just to what is conveyed, but to the heart behind it. One of the things that I think we have, the home court advantage of being daughters of the King, is that we have the Holy Spirit inside of us. So we can learn to listen, not just with our physical ears, but our spiritual ears, right? By the Holy Spirit. We don't just see with our physical eyes, we see with our spirit. And so listening is a really, really holy thing. And it's a gift that we can give to someone every single day, right? Every person we listen to, we have the opportunity to engage with them in a way that makes them feel seen and heard. And we also bring our own distractions, our own opinions, our own thoughts to the table. And so today I want to challenge us on that. I want you to practice this the next time you're in conversation with someone. Are you listening to respond to them, or are you listening to take in what they're saying, to actually hear it, and to actually maybe follow up with questions, clarification, and that kind of thing? So that's the first thing. And that might be really challenging, especially if you're in any kind of conflict with someone, or you're in a heated discussion, or just talking in general. Are you listening, essentially just waiting for them to stop talking so that you can say what you want to say? Or how do you begin to practice this principle of, what are they actually saying? Holy Spirit, what's behind the words? I hear this, but is that actually accurate? Holy Spirit, I'm distracted. Here I am over with a squirrel. Oh, my cat just jumped out on the chair. Oh, coming back to intentional listening as a gift we can give. So that's the first thing. And then I'm doing a mental health coaching online course. And yesterday I listened to a thing on effective listening, which is what got me here with you guys, because this is fascinating. I wanted to tell you some of the few things that they mentioned. And then again, with that first call to action, we'll have a second one. This is fascinating because males and females, we know God made them different. It's so fun how we hear things differently. A female is going to hear more horizontally and relate to people more horizontally. Now, again, these are standards. It's not true of every person, every woman, or every man. They tend to be more close, or they relate to communication by closer distance. Do I feel close? Do I feel far? It's an interdependence and an interconnectedness that women tend to hear more in communication and in listening. Now, men tend to be more vertical. They tend to operate on one more side of their brain, right? We know that. And then they tend to be more thoughts about power and position. Now, that's not wrong. It's different, right? God made men and women differently so that we would complement one another, right? And so the difference of how women may communicate and listen vertically versus men horizontally, or horizontally versus vertically, is a gift. That's part of the process of how we learn. This is fascinating. You think 4 times faster than you talk. Isn't that interesting? So your brain is already 4 steps ahead of you as you're right now. My brain is already 4 steps ahead in this conversation. And that's why listening really matters, right? Because your brain can jump ahead and you forget to listen. I will say myself, I forget to listen. And so there's the message that's given, there's the mood, the emotional impact of it, the message received, and then there's the meaning of every bit of communication. And so we, as daughters, as leaders, we get to begin, okay, Lord, how do I take the content of this message? What is my emotional response? What is their emotions? And then how do I receive it and respond with intention, right? This is important. This is part of life. The speaker can have an intended message that we, or as the listener, totally miss, right? Like they can go that way. Communication actually only happens when what point person A is telling person B is actually communicated. Communication isn't just words happening. Communication is actually the conveyance of the message that was meant to be conveyed. And so, right, this is where conflict comes from. My husband says, "You look okay today," and I hear him say, "You look ugly today." You know what I mean? Like how that wasn't what was said at all, but that's what I heard and I took in. And so then my response, the mood and my the meaning is assigned that wasn't actually intended to be there. Body language. This is fascinating. This is fascinating. 7% of communication is words. 7%. Okay. 55% is nonverbal. This is why if you are talking to someone and you have a body language like this, or you're listening to someone with, body language, that 55% of your body language, both as a listener and a speaker, is going to tell them way more than the 7% of what the words are. So that's interesting. So this is the next thing. When you're in conversation with people, pay attention to your body. What is my face doing? We say that often. Fix your face. Lead with a face that isn't. How is your body language, right? It's fascinating how body language, again, 55%, and then 38%, the rest of communication is actually your tone. I could tell you communication is really important to me, and I love that I get to talk to you about it today, right? And you'd be like, "What's wrong with you? You need to go take a nap." And I could say, "I love that I get to talk to you about communication today because you do it every day." And all of us need and get to grow in it, right? So think about, these are the three things I want you to pay attention to. Words, less than 10%, not even to double digit. Body language, the full 55% of communication. Think about this the next time you're in conflict with either your spouse or someone at work or that kind of thing. And then think about the tone you use. That, does it match your body? Does it match your words? And this is communication. And so so the first call to action, what was it? It was, do you listen to respond or do you listen to hear? And how do you ask the Holy Spirit to teach you to listen well? And then second is pay attention to your face, your body, your tone, and your words as you are communicating. Think about opportunities you might have as a team where you're in a kerfuffle or in some conflict or some uncertainty. Think about your tone, think about your face, think about even the tone of your words if you're typing, and ask the Holy Spirit, eyes to see, Lord, ears to hear. Remember that image that our beautiful Tracy Baxter made us with gospel goggles and Holy Spirit hearing aids. So I love that we get to grow together because these things are for all of life to make us more effective in loving well and serving one another. So, all right. See you in all the places.